G'day Twitter and YouTube, Aussie Activist here. Today's video is about the United States funding state terrorism. I wanted to do a video going back into history about different countries that have been supported in different ways by the United States, and this is during the time of dictatorships. So, being that there's actually quite a list of a few, I'm going to have to do them in different countries. So the first country that I want to do this video on, this one's about Iraq. Now, yes, the United States did fund the Saddam Hussein regime. Now, people will probably say, no, hang on a minute, United States took out Saddam Hussein. And yes, that's true as well. But previous to that, they did actually support Saddam Hussein. And this is all documented and provable. People can go and look it up for themselves, and I will put references below the video. Now, basically just going to go back and we're going to do a short timeline because I want to keep the video short and sweet. So in 1963, the Ba'ath Party in Iraq came to power with the help of the CIA. Now, one of the major things the CIA did for them, among many other things, was provided lists of opposers to the Ba'ath regime. Now, this list of opposers these people were hunted down and basically killed because they were opposing the Ba'ath Party. Now, in 1979, Saddam Hussein came to power and to be president of Iraq. Now, on the 1st of February that same year, Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile to lead the revolutionary government of Iran, which was made up of a majority of Islamic clerics. So, in 1980, Saddam Hussein invaded Iran. He wanted Iraq to be the dominant power in the Gulf and was afraid that the Shiite majority in Iraq would be persuaded to revolt by the Khomeini government in Iran. Both Reagan and Bush supported the dictator in his war with the Iranian government, which was dominated by the Islamic clergy. They feared the Iranian Revolution would spread throughout the Middle East. Do we see that happening? Maybe some years later, but we actually see a Middle Eastern revolution going on right now. So from 1980 to 1988, this is basically the period of invasion. In 1982, the State Department took Iraq off the list of states aiding terrorism, and 2 years later extended formal recognition. This allowed the extension of credit and the flood of exports from the United States into Iraq, including equipment that was of dual use. And the dual-use equipment was to be used in fabricating missiles, enhancing its nuclear, bacteriological, and chemical war capabilities. Now, President Reagan also allowed for the exports of military equipment ordered by Saddam Hussein for his personal protection. So he's basically allowed him to take up arms for himself to protect himself against his own people. That's a bit strange. Okay, so Washington also provided diplomatic support and became an active partner in Saddam's oil war with Iran. The deportation of the Shiite community began in 1979 and escalated during the years of the war with Iran, the time of Washington's support. Approximate 300,000 were forced out of the country, and Kurds living in Iraq were victimised and victims of chemical attacks. US firms provided the chemicals used in producing mustard gas and also provided 60 tonnes of chemical used for producing sarin. Nice one, America. In 1988, the Iraqi Air Force attacked a Kurdish city, or Kurdish village, with mustard gas and nerve toxins. The entire village or city, called Halabja, my apologies if I say that incorrectly, was basically wiped out. Every person, livestock, pets, probably anything but cockroaches. The Iraqi spokesman blamed it on Iran. Now, that there is quite interesting because we always see a lot being blamed on Iran these days. So if we look at it in a historical context, you can see all these different connections. Every time something happens, oh, it was Iran. Oh, it was Iran. Now, if you haven't heard of the term false flag, PSYOPs, please go and have a look up what they are, because PSYOPs and false flags have been going on basically as long as political governments have been around. And if you don't believe me, go and read some history like I do. Okay, so moving forward in the timeline, in 1990, Bush switched his policies and went to war with Iraq in 91. Now, the switch in foreign policy also saw a major shift in propaganda that was played on TV. Now, a full range of propaganda war was waged. And what's interesting to note, from 1982 to 1990, Washington actually tried to mask the evil nature of the regime. But during the latter years, from 1990 to 1991 and later, was actually exposing Saddam. So what they did was basically never mentioned again, or rarely ever mentioned again, that Washington did support Iraq. So people would forget about it. Out of sight, out of mind, you know. We've moved forward to 1996. A Newsday report that non-profit firms made 70 government-approved shipments of anthrax and other disease-causing pathogens to Iraqi scientists from 85 to 89, and that's according to congressional reports. And in 2003, UN weapons inspectors in Iraq found so-called Air Force documents indicating that 13,000, 13000, chemical bombs were dropped by the Iraqi Air Force between 1983 and 1988. So there we have it, in under 10 minutes, a history of United States military funding and offering support to Saddam Hussein before they invaded him. That's some history for you. The next video I'm going to do is about Iran. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Please, if you can get this book, State Terrorism and the United States, from Counterinsurgency to the War on Terrorism, please read it. It is a depth of knowledge and an absolute wealth of knowledge in that book, statistics, everything. So if you are really interested in seeing how history affects our future and what militaries are capable of and what PSYOPs they do, please get that book. Anyway, Aussie Activist signing off. You can find me on Twitter. Bye.